Guys, what's up? Whoa. This is week 4 of the Desert Duels recap. Hey, the value for this video for you guys is I know many of you guys are trying to accomplish, multiple goals in your business or your professional life and your fitness, your family. So the benefit of this series that I have together for you guys is that I'm going to help you accomplish it all. Work-life balance, getting it all done, winning in your profession, winning in your personal life, winning in your personal life, winning in all areas can feel like whack-a-mole. All right, it can feel like you're slamming one thing. You ever play that game whack-a-mole where it's the video game, and you like smack down on the moles with a hammer, and then another one pops up. It's like whack-a-mole, right? So, I have some lessons from this last week of my training that'll really help you accomplish it all. All right. If you're new to the channel, I'm doing a series on the channel here where I'm training up for the Desert Duels no-gi competition, and that's in September. It's a fundraising event to stop and prevent soldier suicide. So I'm going to be one of the quote-unquote super fights out there. It's a veteran-based no-gi competition. I'm training up for that, so I'm taking you guys along the way. I'm also a business owner, an entrepreneur, and I'm a family man, So I'm one of you guys, and I served in the military. I was an infantry officer. I was an infantry commander. I also served in the 75th Ranger Regiment. I was an infantry platoon leader there, Ranger platoon leader, and was selected for one of the specialty assignments, the Strike Force 1 platoon leader spot. So that was a sub 1% opportunity that I was able to have the honor of being a part of that mission set. So my life was like I was a bottom 1% person when I first came into the military. Everybody was in charge of me. Turned all that around. And I did that by changing me, and you guys, when it comes to achieving things in your personal life, your professional life, the only reason why you don't have the things, you're not living that life is because you're the common denominator. All right. So this last week, let me talk you guys through kind of what happened this week. Let me share some of the lessons that I learned about business, life, your personal life, professional life. Share that wisdom with you guys so that you can accomplish all. And let me take you through this week's training. All right. So today is Saturday, and it is around 6:30, 7 o'clock a.m. out here in Lighthouse Point, which is near Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I just finished up a 7-mile run. I went from my house down to the beach, Pompano Beach, and back. And I did, so that wasn't the Suffering Saturday run, even though it was tough. The Suffering Saturday workout today, which is every Saturday I try to do something to stay out of complacency, push myself even further. So today what I did is I haven't ate since Wednesday. Yeah, that's right. I have not ate food since Wednesday, and today's Saturday. So I'm closing in on about 60 hours of fasting right now. And I do that because when I was in Colorado, I used to live in Colorado. I used to climb the mountains to push myself. And out here, there's no mountains. So fasting is a great way for me to challenge myself. For you guys, I always encourage people to do something every day every day you should be pushing yourself, challenging yourself, but one day a week, you should be taking it a step further. And that's you should be breaking routines. You should be calling yourself out, taking accountability. It's like when it comes to your fitness, right? How often do you get on the scale? How often do you check in, look at the progress photos? The more you can check in and the more you can systemize your growth, the higher you'll climb. Because the fact of the matter is, one of the things that I actually reflected on from this week was a lot of people just lack accountability, man. They just don't hold themselves accountable. They don't put themselves in position to measure their results, see where they stand, and measure and see where they're failing at. They avoid it altogether. So basically, when it comes to getting it all done, this week I did this. So Saturday I did the 7-mile run, fasted. That's my Suffering Saturday challenge. This week I averaged 2 to 3 workouts a day, and Thursday I'd stopped eating Wednesday. Thursday, I did a 5-mile. No, it was over that. It was like an hour run with it might have been around 5 miles with my body armor on, plate carrier, and then I went to MMA sparring and I fought this like Russian dude. Obviously, I got the shiner right here. And I'm doing all this while I'm rebuilding my business in my life, guys. I started a series this week on YouTube where I dropped that I'm rebuilding. I'm in a rebuilding stage. But this is the value for you right here is what I learned this last week. I got punched in the face by this Russian, and after I got punched, I'm like, dude, what am I doing? Why am I fighting in the gym? And I could be doing so many other different things. But I took inventory and I realized why I was doing it, and I realized that I was looking for a way out. I was looking for an excuse. And in your life, when you're trying to accomplish multiple goals, whether you're training for no gi competition or whether you're in MMA sparring or whether you're going for a run, you're going to constantly think of reasons why you shouldn't be doing it. And a weak mind cracks when it's time to quit. A weak mind looks for a way out. A strong mind looks for a way in. Remember that shit, dude. That was a powerful lesson from this last week because here I was in MMA, hadn't ate since Wednesday. I'm depleted, already ran in training, get punched in the face by this like Russian dude. And I'm over there thinking like, what am I doing, man? And my mind started to go weak. And I had to like flip it, make it strong and realize what I'm there for. And I'm there to make myself better. I'm there to challenge myself. I'm there to get out of my own way, to stop believing that I know what's best and to keep my ego in check. And so that's why I'm there. And so anyways, I finished up that session, obviously left for the mark, and then got a weight training session in later in the day. I'll try to get some of my gi, no gi videos. I'll try to get a few of those in here. I'm not going to do too much because I don't want to put the too much out there. I just want to take you guys through the story. I don't want to put my opponent might watch the videos or something. But point is for training, I did, then that same day we did some grappling rounds at the end of MMA. And I got this guy that was probably had outweighed me by about 50 pounds. At the very end, his cardio was just shot. And I was able to manhandle him and I put him in a fucking top triangle, and which I got on top mount, sunk in that triangle, sunk it in, and he was out. And these are like professional athletes that fight for their career. That's what they do for a living. So it was a pretty good ego boost for me. So there was this week, basically to summarize this week is, I pushed the pace, I fasted to challenge myself, and I also pushed the pace in the gym. I really wanted to fortify and build up mental toughness this week. And so you got to have these seasons in your life. And I like to do it 1 week at a time. 1 week at a time where I'm really going to push myself and then I'll pull back. If you guys notice, like last week, I had a little bit of a deload week, right? And then this week I picked up the pace. So I like to shuffle my weeks like that, where 1 week's harder than the next. And that doesn't mean I let off of my commitments on the down weeks. I don't stop. I maintain my standards. I just bring the intensity down, right? So that's a lesson that I learned this week is that one that I reinforced from previous like things that I've done is to ramp up and ramp down your training, right? That's one lesson. Another one is over the years, I've been in Florida since 2023. And, when I first got down here, it was very stressful. I prioritized my business and MMA training wasn't really the top priority for me. I maintained my fitness, but I caught myself having these windows where, and you guys are probably like this in your life, it caught myself having these windows where I felt like I should have. Oh man, I should have went to training today. I should have went to training today. I should have went to training today. And it was kind of in the back of my mind. And I kept having these excuses why like I wasn't taking training seriously. And I'm like, I need to focus on this. And it kind of, that this thought crept in, this thought of like, oh, I don't need to focus on that right now, crept in my mind. And it started like taking over and I was fighting it. So I'd have streaks where I was in and I was out. And the whole thing was that I was in a new environment. I was here in Florida, new terrain, new routine. And, in my mind, I was in a stage of rebuilding the business in that period too. So I made a commitment. I said, hey, bro, it's okay to like bring your MMA training down, stay on top of your running and your lifting. But I'd be lying if I said that in that 1.5 year, 2 year period that I didn't have windows where I was like, man, I should be in there training more. And I did. So my lesson from this week is like, I went in this week, and this week is not a good week for me in business and anything like that. And with my personal and professional life, I need to be focused on my professional life. I need to get results in my professional life. But I went in and I went out and trained and focused on this goal that I have no matter what. And I'll tell you what, man, after going through and making myself show up to training while I have all this other shit going on, okay, it feels like my whole professional life is on fire. I'm walking away from that fire and I'm going into training. And I'm going in, I'm training, I'm coming out. And when I come out, the fire that I saw before I went in, I've actually come out and it's been smaller. It's almost like not going into training was what was making the fire bigger. It's almost like my presence around the fire is what was making it roar, which means that my presence around the problem is I was making the problem worse. You know, so in your life, man, if you have these goals that you're trying to work on and you're beating yourself up about not doing one and you need to focus on the other, I challenge you to step away from the goal that you're smothering, step away from the fire. That was a big lesson this week for me, because when you create space from yourself in that heat, you detach for a little bit and you come back, you'll have a clear view of how to put out that actual fire. Because what's actually happening is it's almost like your presence is pouring fuel on it. And what you really need to do is stop pouring fuel on it and back the hell up. Okay? Really good lesson. So what's the takeaway? In your professional life, are you smothering your goals? Do you need to back up and let your goal breathe? Because I guarantee if you go and choose something like I did, MMA training or whatever it is for you, that breathing room, it was literally like an hour of training, hour and a half, plus a little bit of travel, 2 hours out of my day, 2 hour investment out of the entire week if it's only once a week, but it's out of the day. That's a very small investment to take a step back and be able to have that 30,000 foot overview. So that was a big lesson this week, was to basically don't smother your goals. All right. The last thing that I learned this week is, like I said, it was, making yourself, like, you need less is more. Okay. So what I found is by the third lesson that I learned this week while training for the Desert Duels no-gi competition is that less is more, which means that when you decide to take on another goal, like this no-gi competition, or you're going to prioritize an area of your life, when you really make that thing a priority, MMA training, fitness training, your family, your business, your health, whatever, your mental health, maybe, whatever it is for you, when you decide to really, truly prioritize it, which means you take it from idea to putting it on your calendar, and then you adhere to that spot. When you truly take the idea out of your mind and you live it, you live the idea, you make the priority an activity, what ends up happening is you find you're already maxed out. So you're going to take this idea, put it on your calendar, something has to come off. You're going to start cutting away bullshit out of your life. And for me, that's what I had to do. Less phone calls, less text messages, less DMs, more just me, tunnel vision into what was important, more time with myself, more time with my wife. And I'll tell you, man, I've never been more clear on my business. I've never felt better about my fitness. I've never felt better about the direction that everything is going. And it's all because I took a step back from that fire that I was smothering. So this week, guys, those are the lessons learned from this week's train up. The no weight training. Maybe I will get a weight training session for you guys on camera. We'll see. But after the run, I just came right back out here. Yeah, after the run, I just came right back out here, jumped in the pool. Oh my God, this is like the best part about living in Florida is having this pool. It's like, I used to think you were totally winning in life when you had a pool, because we had an above ground pool, which was cool. Like my parents worked really hard for that pool. It was like $300 or $500 or something like that. And before that, we just had like the little like kiddie pool. But anyways, point is guys, I hope you liked the video. I hope this was useful for you. Got the run in. Here's a little bit of wisdom for you for the week, for training up for the Desert Duels. And if I decide to jump in and go get some weight training in, well, I'm going to get some weight training in, but I'll make the decision on whether to take you guys or not. All right. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Conquer all. All right, guys, what's up? So, decided to throw in some workout with you guys. Do a team workout because today's Sunday actually. So yesterday I did that fast. I did the run. I did a light lift in the evening, but I was with my wife, so I just was just present with her. And I decided, hey, you know what? I'll record the rest of the video on Sunday. I'll put it out on Sunday. So that's what we're here doing. I'm on Sundays. I like to do a little bit of a freestyle workout. So basically what that means is that I get to hit all the fun parts that I like to hit, or I can hit some lagging areas. And the whole thing is that, Monday through Saturday, I come into the gym with a very, very clear purpose and objective. And Sundays, I'm a little bit more mentally relaxed. Like it's a freestyle. It's just whatever I feel like doing, it's more like, playtime, I guess. And I think that's important because, for me at least, it's important because it allows me the space to think. It allows me the space to think. I think through like goals. I think through how I can be better. I try to take like today. I'm thinking a lot about the business. I'm thinking a lot about Conquer Academy and what I want it to turn into versus what I think. Like there's this battle when it comes to building. There's this battle between your ego and God. I think there's what you want. I want to make this work because I said I was going to do it, and then there's what God is, the path that God's laying out in front of you. And I think that a lot of us struggle because with that battle between ego and God. Because it's hard sometimes to discern. Your ego can be really, really loud, and you can feel like maybe it's God taking you that way, but it's really just you trying to control the situation and get what you want, which is ego. So Sundays, hopefully you guys can hear me all right. Um, I come in, I work out, and I try to like get centered between that crossroads, like, or rather, spend some time thinking about what is it that I'm trying to do, and what is it that God's calling me to do, and that's what this workout's about. So freestyle a little bit. The thing that the value for you guys in this section is, I'm gonna keep dropping some life wisdom and just help share my current thinking process and maybe some previous things that have worked well for me when it comes to navigating life and navigating different challenges so that you guys can navigate those challenges in your own life, right? So it's just like one of the hardest things to do in life is kind of figure out, it can be difficult figuring out what your next step is. And what's the saying? Success leaves clues. Gotta take the shakes out of this. What the hell? Come on, Jeremiah. What the fuck? Oh, it feels good. So this morning I was kind of going through one of those thinking loops where I was just overthinking everything, and I was trying to find a path to getting what I want in some areas of my life and business and life, right? And I was like, I don't know if you guys do this, but I almost started reinventing my process for goal setting and achievement. And I'm like, why am I doing this? Why am I looking for a new strategy versus just do what worked? And I had to catch myself. It took me a while to snap out of it. But when it comes to, if you're not getting results, then it's time to change the strategy. But if you're not getting results because you keep changing the strategy, that's a different thing. And then if you're not getting results because you stop doing the strategy, then you got to go back to the strategy. Like, and that's what happened with me, is that I'm kind of like deviating from what works. I had to catch myself, you know? It's not one of those situations where I'm it's not one of those situations where I'm doing the wrong strategy. I'm just not complying to the one that I know works. So I had to catch myself on that this morning. Typically, one of the ways that I catch myself, maybe this will be useful for you guys, is like if I catch myself in a planning loop, constantly planning, constantly planning, constantly planning, I step back from that and I'm like, what did I just get done? Nothing. Like if I were to wake up tomorrow, would I get any benefit from what I did just now on my, I rearranged my calendar. I listed out the goals that I want to accomplish. I romanticized this plan. And it's like, when you take a step back from all the effort that you put into planning, what are you left with? Nothing. You didn't do anything. You just sat there and spent time going in circles inside of your imagination. So I had to, when you do that, like the thing that helps me is I constantly, what I have done over the years to get out of that planning cycle is like practice taking a step back and looking what I just planned and be like, okay, what did I get done? Like just constantly audit my actions and it's not even just with planning, but it's like even with this gym session or whatever I do throughout the day, it's like I'll constantly do something and take a step back and be like, okay, what did I get done right there? Like I'll get done with this gym workout and I'll be like, okay, what did I get done right there? And I'll be like, oh, got the YouTube video up and I enjoyed myself for the workout. That feels good. I think so. So taking those little inventories as you go through your day, I think are super important because you can really call yourself on your bullshit of just going in circles or getting stuff done. Let's go to the next one. Going shirt on for this one. Adjust the mic too. Oh man, I love the feel of just a steel bar and steel plates. Reminds me of being a kid in my basement. Whoa. A basement at my parents' house. Props to all the gyms out there that have steel. I first started working out at like 14 and we used to spend all of our time. Once you get your first pump, you get hooked. I don't think most people stick with it long enough to experience that, Once you get that taste of just having a good pump and like feeling dialed, it's so addicting. You just want to get back to that spot all the time. Like, oh, this is what it feels like. This is what it feels like to be lean, to appreciate my body, to have this muscle. Oh, I forgot what this was like. Feels good. So I did that fast, 62-hour fast, right? And it was next level. I don't recommend fasting for anybody that hasn't gotten their nutrition dialed in, because every time you fast, you're just continue to eat like shit. You'll overcorrect and eat like shit. Like, I don't think you deserve a fast until you can prove that you can log your macros. You know what I'm saying? That's just my personal take. I just think it messes people up. It gives them this false feeling. It's like the same feeling as chasing motivation. When you chase a fast for weight loss and to get dialed in, you're chasing a feeling of being optimized, like a feeling of self-gratification. And really, that's not how you achieve success, right? In anything, most success is achieved through boring
bricklaying, like doing one brick after the next brick after. It's monotonous and just tedious and lame. Actually, it really sucks. Whereas fasting is intense. There's a lot of emotion there. It can feel motivational. And that's actually not the way that you achieve success. If you think about it, it's true, right? Do you really achieve success in anything by being intense and being motivated? No, you don't. You achieve success by waking up on the days that you don't want to wake up, putting one foot in front of the other, doing the work when no one's watching, and it just feels boring and almost depressing. That's real success. Like that's the real path of success. At least in the areas where I personally have like achieved something and won something, it was because it was boring. And I just kept doing it over and over and over again. You know, I got my purple belt in jiu-jitsu in less than 2 years. And there was a lot of days in there where I just did not want to go to jiu-jitsu, but I went and trained and I was just like, dude, what the fuck am I doing with my life? And it's those days where you really actually work your way towards success. It's not the competition. Like doing a jiu-jitsu competition or competing in the gym is exciting, right? That's not how you get your belt. You know, you get your belt by showing up at the practices in between the workout or in between the competitions. So I think that that's a good litmus test for whether or not you're on track for success in an area of life. Is it boring? Everybody wants to live these like highlight reels all the time. I'll tell you something that I've learned over the years, guys, that I think will help you. The people that really struggle in life are not, there's a couple of different types. The person that can't do the work. Then there's the person that can only do the work when people are watching. That person has a lot of peaks and valleys, and they will struggle their entire life until they learn how to manage their emotions. They'll constantly chasing that next high, the next up, the next win, without ever appreciating the in-betweens, you know? And the people that really, truly win that I have been around, man, they might be intense. They might love the home runs, but they're really good at just being consistently content. Maybe content's the wrong word. Probably consistently. Like I look at it like a scale of 1 to 10, like a person's emotions. If you need it to be a 10 out of 10 to operate and execute, your whole day, you're not going to be able to maintain a 10 out of 10 state, but you can maintain, it's like a car, right? A car, if you rev up the engine and you max it out, you're going to blow the engine. And if you're too low, like if your RPMs are too low, then you're not going to be going fast enough. And it's just like, you're going to get passed up. But if you can just consistently stay at like, you know, the optimized RPMs, 3,500 RPMs or whatever, and just consistently be, your car can actually utilize its fuel at a more efficient rate, you know, and it can go further, longer, and you can pass more people. It's like, it's simple, simply put, it's like the turtle and the hare analogy, right? It's like, who do you want to be? You want to be the turtle? You want to be the hare? It's like the turtle, bro. I mean, I want to be a Jack Rip turtle, a Ninja Turtle, you know what I'm saying? But I don't want to be running around racing from one thing to the next. I want to be optimized. I'd rather have that. Optimization. Optimized. I want all my areas of life optimized. I'll tell you guys something, man. I'm beat the hell up. I have the nastiest bruise in my leg from this guy that kicked me at the gym. Okay. All right. There's this exercise right here. Good. This is a good one for push-up improvement. It's a good one to fill out the chest. I'm just doing them feel today. Good fucking time. Oh man. Yeah. This thigh, when I sit like this, oh my God. I feel like I have the nastiest Charlie horse right here in this thigh, so I'm like leaning this way. But recovery is another thing, man. You know, if I had to pick one thing for recovery that helps, it's reducing your food intake before you go to sleep, not eating 2 to 3 hours before you go to sleep, if you can do it. And then focusing on getting deep sleep, quality over quantity. You don't need a lot of hours. You can sleep way better if you just cut out food to, I mean, I'm like, this is an area where I constantly battle, you know, because I'll eat an hour before bed, I'll eat after I go to sleep. It's like, it's a problem. But on the nights where I nail it, my recovery is crazy. I just feel so much better the next day. Uninterrupted sleep. That is the best supplement. That is the best recovery for if sleep was a supplement, the FDA would make that shit illegal because it works so good. So that's what I'm focused on for my recovery. Whoa. This the uniform this guy wore coming in was very interesting. Yeah, one more of these and we'll call it, guys. All right, guys. So a full recap from last week is when it comes to training, business, life, getting it all done. Um, it's about, I mentioned before in the pool that it was about doing less. Like less is more. So that's a big lesson from this week. And as far as training goes, in August I'll really start shifting gears to just doing more grappling. I feel good about the pace that I'm going right now, so I'm hitting 2 sessions a day, sometimes 3 sessions a day between weight training, running, MMA. But moving into August, I'm gonna bump up and prioritize the grappling. So what that looks like is adjusting MMA from 4 days a week to 4 sessions a week and 7 sessions of weight training, 7 cardio sessions. It'll be 7 cardio sessions, 7 weight training, and 7 either MMA or grappling. So we'll get to that level. And that'll be the focus for August. So we still have a few more days left in July. Obviously, moving into that type of workload is going to be very, very time consuming. Doing 20 sessions a week, 21 sessions a week. But the key is, like during the cardio, I can actually work on the business a little bit as long as I turn my phone off. So I'll be focused on that. Stack tasking. That's a good little lesson for you guys. All right, so what is stack tasking? Stack tasking is where you create a place in time, one moment in time, where you're getting multiple things done at 100% efficiency or near 100% efficiency. Multitasking is where you're switching between tasks. So you have a task of like doing your homework and reading a book. It's like, do you do the homework or do you read the book, or do you do them at the same time? Stack tasking, if I have multiple tasks that I need to get done and I stack them all in one place in time, that would be like I'm getting my hair cut. I am closing deals on social media. And I'm also I found a way to get my beard trimmed at the same time as my haircut. So there's two different people. One's trimming my beard, one's cutting my hair, and one is I am closing deals. That's where I stack tasks. Another one would be like tattoos. So if say I want to get a right arm tattoo, a right sleeve, a left sleeve, and both my legs. So I could get 4 different people to tattoo all 4 limbs, and now I am getting 4 tasks done at the same time. Another example would be like getting my hair cut or getting tattooed and or being in an Uber. I'm in an Uber and I'm having a meeting. I do a Zoom call and I have a meeting. This is stack tasking. I'm taking the task of driving to the airport in the Uber, and I'm also taking a meeting. So you can stack tasks pretty easily with 2 things at once. That's the easiest way to collapse time. Sometimes you can get away with 3. But if you want to really make things efficient, you stack task. If you want to really get the most out of whatever you're doing, you do one thing and that's it. You don't stack task. Stack tasking only really works well when it really only works when it's not a big thing that you need to do. Like if Jeff Bezos, or rather maybe you have like, the point is you just don't want to like make it multiple tasks that need 100% of your focus. You know what I mean? Like 100% where you're going to weigh a decision and the effects of that decision are catastrophic. Like maybe you have the nuclear codes and somebody's asking you whether or not you should employ them. And then you're also being asked to make a freaking multi-million-dollar decision. It's like, do you really want to do both of those at the same time? No, you want to do one at a time, right? Yeah, I know, weird example, but the point is my focus moving into this week for you guys. Let's focus on productivity this week. Let's focus on either stack tasking or just going 100% all in on one task. I'm going to be focused on that this week. I'm going all in on one thing, extended periods of time, 90 minutes, 4 hours. I might even do one this week of like 12 hours. We're going to see, but I'm going to play with my productivity. And the reason for that is because I need to be able to create more time for training in August. So I'm going to be messing with that this week. All right, guys, that's this week's video. That's the recap. The name of the game is to not reinvent the wheel, keep doing what works, and double down on being effective moving into next week. That's the focus. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Conquer all.